AMD is down again. And the buy the dip cheerleaders are telling you to buy this cheap stock. Look, I'll be straight with you. Nvidia is still
I nearly spit out my coffee on that. I'm glad you said that.
dominating the AI chip market right now, and it'll continue to do so for the foreseeable future. Remember all the let's buy the next Tesla plays? Lucid, Neo, Rivian. Didn't work out so well for us, did it? Because the next Tesla turned out to be Tesla. Now, I'm not saying AMD will never recover. Microsoft, Google, Meta, and Amazon are all expanding their AMD partnerships. Why? Because AMD is offering something rather special. Competitive pricing, pretty decent performance, and an open software stack that's a bit more flexible than what Nvidia is putting out there. But it's not the time yet to put your hard-earned money into AMD. In the long run, I think they have a shot, but I want to show you in this video the exact moment that I would put my money into AMD and what to do about it in the meantime. Now, why do they have a shot in the long run? Why am I sort of a short-term bear and a long-term bull? It's very, very simple. Lisa Su, she's the CEO, and she's delivered on virtually every major promise since taking the helm at AMD. And that's fairly rare in the semiconductor industry, about as rare as Winston turning down a snack, quite frankly. But let's come back to what matters here most. Yes, AMD stock has dropped nearly 50% from its peak, and that is enough to bring out the bottom fishers.
And we've seen so many of these bottom fishers talking about how now is the time to buy AMD. I'm so stoked that Felix also has the right mindset here. And we are going to be covering one of those bottom fishers here in just a minute. But let's continue on with Felix here.
Buy the dip, they scream. But just because it's 50% down doesn't mean it won't fall another 50%. Or it may
exactly. In fact, I have a slide on how bad 50% down is. Just because it's down 50%, you realize that it has to double to get back to even, right? It has to literally double to go back to where it was, to see that strength that it had before.
Stay flat for a year. Do you want 0% returns on that money for a whole year? Look,
oh my gosh, this is like Felix and I are saying the same. I've been screaming this for weeks now. Do not buy AMD as it's going down, right? It may find its bottom. It may start to come back up, but it may take it 6 months to a year to figure that out, right? This is a classic, very obvious stage 4 downtrend. What do I mean by that, right? So this is the market cycle right here. Cycle number 1 is the bottom, right? So imagine it starts here, it ends here, and then it restarts. It's a cycle. Then you've got your stage 2 uptrend here. So stage 1 is where nothing's really happening. Stage 2 is when the move that everybody gets so excited about happens. Stage 3 is this topping pattern here. Stage 4 is on its way down, right? The panic, capitulation, anger phase. This is this, right? AMD is like perfectly set up in a stage 4 downtrend. It's so obvious to anybody with a brain that this is not a stock to buy. It is so obvious. And we don't know if it's even come down to this point right here, right? It may still be up here in anxiety and denial. It could fall. Oh, it could fall a lot further. And that's Felix's point here, right? If you think that 110 is a great deal, you probably thought 150 was a fantastic deal. So you would love it at 110. But is it really the bottom? We don't know. We have no idea of knowing. But we do know when it changes direction, right? With the outlier trend template, your 10 over the 20, price over the 50. That's when you know it's changed direction. And until that happens, it's going down, right? Don't go down with the ship.
There's one very simple rule that every successful trader follows. And I learned this from guys who'd been trading 30 and 40 years, who'd seen all the crashes, who'd managed billions of dollars, and they taught me what these rules are. And the first rule is don't buy a stock that's falling. And it seems counterintuitive because we want to buy stuff cheap, doesn't it?
Look, man, I'm so glad I found Felix's channel because he and I see so eye to eye on so much stuff. And then seeing other people like Jeremy's channel, how completely misguided, 100% wrong he can be. He can be right on something every once in a while. But when he is like dug his foot in, got emotionally invested in AMD and Elf Beauty, which we'll talk about too, right? You're just asking for a world of hurt to buy stocks that are going down. But let me introduce myself real quick. I know you're just thinking, who's this random guy on the internet? Well, my name is Chris Fuel. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where we save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So be sure to stick around, and I'll show you my top 3 setups of the day after we finish this video. And go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already.
but the successful traders don't do it. And there's a little bit more to it than just don't buy the falling thing. And I'm going to give you some real points in a second on the chart here. But if you actually want to learn the simple 3 rules of when to buy and then when to exit for a profit, I'm actually going to run a live free training.
I'll give you everything that I can. You don't have to go to any webinars.
The marbles, my cat stole them all. I think she's hidden them somewhere in the sofa. But do you see what's on here? Breakout, 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 another one at the top here. So where did we buy? We bought here. And note what the stock's doing, it's going up. There isn't a breakout when it was falling. We didn't own Palantir here. No.
It feels so good to hear this. It's not, there are no breakouts when it's falling, right? The trend is going down, right? When the stock is falling, the trend is going down. And I don't know if you know this. You might have heard somebody say it before, but only price pays, okay? Only price is going to pay.
Many people said, oh, you must own Palantir. It was falling. Now look at AMD and look what you see. I did not forget to turn on the breakout indicator. It's actually on. But there is no breakout, not one in sight, because this, my friends, is a classic textbook falling knife. You had the first trend here, that sort of thing.
No, actually, there is a different technical term that we use for this. You may have heard it before. It's called being monkey hammered. Okay. AMD has been monkey hammered over and over and over and over again, right? That is the technical analysis term that we use for this.
And then it got even worse. And we're now on this trend here, and I'll make that a different shade of horror red, and therefore it's falling. So when would I buy AMD? Because I probably will buy AMD at some point. And you might think, Felix, you've got no backbone, no spine, you flip-flop around. Yes, exactly, I do. I flip.
That's right. That is absolutely right. In fact, maybe you've heard the phrase diamond hands and paper hands. I have the most paper hands you've ever seen. And that's why I make money in the markets. That's why I don't have to stress, right? If my trade doesn't work out, I get out. Because you can always get back in, right? If I lose a couple bucks on the trade, who cares? Because I'll just find the next one. But never will you see me sitting on dead money or losing money at any point in time. No way.
Flop around to whatever's making me money. And I don't care what stock makes me money. I don't marry the CEO or have this weird conviction disease that people get. I just buy what makes me money, and it works.
And in fact, I'm glad you mentioned the conviction disease, right? A lot of the videos that I've been covering, they talk a lot about investing in the company, right? Investing in the leadership, investing in where they see the future of the company, right? Sure. Now, that could fall into the can slim type of investing. Maybe you've heard of it. Pioneered by market wizard William O'Neill. Can slim is a great way to evaluate a stock, right? With the quarterly earnings, current quarterly earnings, are they growing? Are your annual earnings growing? Do they have new products, services, or management, right? Is there supplier and demand for their product? Are they a leader or a lagger when it comes to the stock? How much institutional ownership is there? But most of all, is it moving in the direction you want it to go? Okay, you can have everything lined up. It could be the greatest story in the whole world. But if it is not moving in the direction that you want to see it, if you're buying it, obviously that means going up. If it's not moving up, there is no sense in buying it whatsoever, right? So you can put all the fundamentals you want to behind it. But if it continues to get monkey hammered day after day after day, you're basically setting your money on fire. Absolutely setting your money on fire. So I really appreciate Felix going into that. But I do want to jump into Jeremy's video in just a minute and see just how brutal things are for him right now.
Works very well most of the time. Now, occasionally, we find a stock that has tremendous fundamentals and is really, really punished unfairly. At that point, I research it and I wait. And what do I wait for? I wait for the momentum to change. At the moment,
that's exactly it. You find the stock that you love and you wait. You wait for the momentum to change. Praise Jesus. I found somebody else who has a brain on YouTube.
Has it changed? No, it's still falling. Now, how do you put a number on that? Well, you could wait for our breakout indicator and you can get yourself trade vision for free.
You don't have to use any sort of indicators other than a couple of moving averages. Literally 3. Your 10 over the 20, price over the 50. You want to see what a trend looks like when it's working? Let me show you a trend that looks like when it's working. HIMS. That is a trend. What it looks like when it's working. Okay, you've got your 10 over the 20, price over the 50. This was the crossover point right here. And listen, sometimes you might lose a couple bucks on these crossover points. Okay, but other times you could make bank Like HIMS is a great example of making bank. Palantir, right? Here's a crossover point right here. Make huge bank. By the way, if you're a Palantir shareholder, congratulations. When I see this right here, a gap and a go, dude, things just change for Palantir. Things just literally change. It's not even in the same stratosphere that it was previously. And then you can look at this, right? Coke is another perfect example of market cycle, right? Stage 1, where nothing's happening. Stage 2, giant move up. Stage 3, topping pattern. Stage 4, moving back down, right? This is how the market works. This is this, is this, is this, is this, is this, right? And why? Why? It's because when people are excited, they all rally around each other, right? Is it a good buy? Oh my goodness, buy, 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 right? This cartoon is exactly this in action. It's exactly this, right? This is your stage 2 uptrend right here, where everybody's screaming to buy. This is your stage 3 topping point, where they're like, wait, I've got a stock here. Well, hang on, what did he say, right? Everybody's not really sure what's going on. Then you've got your stage 4 downtrend, and then it just cycles again once it hits the bottom and it starts going back up. So let's move over to Jeremy's video. Now, I will absolutely commend Jeremy, because one thing that he does is at least he makes his videos and keeps them public when he's wrong, right? He's so wrong on Elf Beauty. He's been, man, Jeremy's had a bad week. Jeremy's had a really bad week. He was talking about AMD. What were some other stocks he was talking about? I know we covered it earlier this week. Let me go to my recents here. He was talking about AMD. He was talking about Amazon, which is getting beat up after earnings. Can't remember the other one that he was. PayPal. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was one of his stocks as well. PayPal got absolutely destroyed with the monkey hammer here. But lately, he's been talking about Elf Beauty. So let's see what he has to say about Elf Beauty.
In this video here today, I'm going to show you exactly why Elf stock is a buy and don't.
Excuse me while I barf. Oh my gosh, no.
Stop buying. It's a buy week in and week out here for a while. And I mean a while. This is one.
Elf Beauty just had earnings. Not only was it in a horrible downtrend, not only, if you look at it, was it in stage 4 downtrend, right? Your stage, let's see, stage 2 right there, stage 3 topping, stage 4 all the way down, right? Not only was it in a stage 4 downtrend, not only was the outlier trend template showing the 10 under the 20, price under the 50, but now it's going to open down 26-ish% today, right? It's going to open, this is before the market opens right now. So currently it says it's going to open at $67. So it's down 24%, down 24%. Holy moly. Just give me a break here. Let's see what he has to say.
One of those stocks you just want to build as big of a position in as quickly as you possibly can over this next bit of time while we get this.
I can't imagine a worse stock to buy as big of a position as you possibly can for any reason. I vehemently disagree with this.
Okay, now at the front of this video, before we get into Elf, I'll quickly cover the Amazon numbers and just show you guys the base numbers around Amazon, because I know there's a lot of Amazon shareholders that watch my channel and obviously want my opinion and perspective on where.
We're going to skip ahead. He starts talking about Elf again around minute 17. Let's see.
And that's why I'm making both of these videos now.
There's 7.
Okay, so this is effing legendary. I mean, let me be very crystal clear. If I had nothing else to show you for the rest of this video, I could show you one thing. This would be the thing I would show you right here. They're a one-of-one company, one-of-one cosmetics brand out of 988 to gain market share for 24 consecutive quarters.
Which means absolutely nothing. Doesn't mean a damn thing, because the stock price has been absolutely monkey hammered to death, and is about to be down 24%. Imagine, I like to put this on time frames, right? Imagine you saved up $100,000, right? And it may have taken you 10 years to get to that point, right? 10 years of your life to save $100,000. And then you put in a stock like this because some YouTube person is like, you need to buy as much as you possibly can. And you turn around and you see 2.5 years of your life evaporate overnight. Evaporate. How would you feel about that? I wouldn't feel very good. In fact, I'd be hella pissed if somebody that I trusted told me to buy a stock that's in a stage 4 decline with the outlier trend template pointing completely to Mexico, and you're telling me this was a great buy, and 2.5 years of scraping, of saving, of sacrifices just evaporate right there overnight. I don't know about you, but I would not listen to that guy anymore.
They're the only company that's beyond legendary. Like, what?
No. Again, we can go back to this, right? If this is, and I don't subscribe to this, right? If you can come up with all these reasons as to why a stock is great, yet the market hates it, the market can stay irrational so much longer than you can stay solvent. And if you want to stand on the track and get run over because you're buying something that is in a downtrend, an obvious downtrend, I can't help you. But that's not you. You're watching this video. You know better than that.
What are we talking about here? That's ridiculous. 24 consecutive quarters of net sales and market share growth. Incredible what this company's doing. Incredible. By the way, revenue beat what analysts were expecting for the company, and net sales growth.
And this is why earnings mean absolutely nothing. Earnings are 100% meaningless if you're trying to make money in the stock. Earnings mean nothing. Not earnings, I should say. Fundamentals. Earnings mean a lot. Earnings can really make a stock go like Palantir. Let's go to Palantir. Earnings can make a stock go like Palantir, or make a stock evaporate like Elf Beauty. Now, I don't trade earnings. If I can avoid it, I will not trade earnings. And when I say if I can avoid it, if I've already built a nice profit cushion, if it's already really extended, then maybe I'll let it run. But if I can avoid it, I will not trade into earnings because of this. It could go really great one direction, or you could watch years of your life that you scrimped and saved evaporate immediately. And I'm not going to have that.
Of 31% year over year. And they grew market share, by the way, 220 basis points. Now, the guidance, oh boy, here we go. The guidance, oh no. Only guiding for a midpoint of 15% revenue growth in the second half of 2025, right? First off, I can tell you almost every other cosmetics brand in the world would trade places with Elf right now. If you would talk about 15% revenue growth, I mean, a lot of these cosmetics brands, folks, the cosmetics industry is going through a tough time right now. It won't last, but it's going through that right now.
Yeah, that stock is going through a tough time right now. I mean, it's got to somehow recover from being absolutely monkey hammered to death. It's got a long way to recover. There's a couple of questions in the chat. Sergey, good to see you this morning. Rick, for a stock in a downtrend like AMD, should we be waiting for the 50 SMA to cross above the 200 before even considering it? In my opinion, I no longer look at the 200s. I only look at the 10, 20, 50 EMAs. Honestly, I don't even know where the 200's at on any stock that I buy. I don't even look at it, honestly. The 10 is my short term, the 20 is my intermediate, and the 50 is my longer term. And that's really all I'm looking for. Static, good morning. Don't set your money on fire today. That's right, Sir Corp. Good to see you. Rick, Elf's down 50% from their recent plateau. Give me a freaking break.
Right? Many of these cosmetics brands are having trouble even growing revenue at all. Some of them are seeing their revenues decline. We're not talking about increase, we're talking about decline. So when Elf puts out a second half forecast of 15% growth at the midpoint, which keep in mind, Elf has a history of coming in and beating their revenue. So if this is anything like Elf has been for the last many years, their growth is probably going to come in better than 15%.
Dude, the other day he was talking about, I remember now, Estee Lauder. Now, my mom wears Estee Lauder. She's almost 80. Oh my gosh, Estee Lauder. Holy moly. If you remember his video, he actually said, I expect Estee Lauder to go up 25, 30%. That's what this circle was supposed to represent. What has happened since earnings is Estee Lauder has gone down 22%. It's now in this order block down here, so it might bounce back up. But Estee Lauder, absolutely monkey hammered to death. Elf Beauty, absolutely monkey hammered to death. Why is anyone listening to him at this point? Put it in the chat. Why is anyone listening to Jeremy at this point? Because you're a long-term holder, right? I got news for you. Long-term holder or short-term trader. The only way you make money is with price. You can come up with all the fundamentals you want. You can come up with all the sales expectations you want. You can come up with all the projections you want. You can make your price target on a spreadsheet look like the most desirable stock in the entire world. But only price pays. Right. I guess because he was right once. That's all that matters, right, Dustin? He was right once. It was definitely right on Palantir. Definitely right on Palantir. But one stock is not going to make up for all these losers that you're planning to hold now for 12 years to make up for losing. So let's do this. We watched 2 different videos. So I'm going to rank them both. I want you to rank them as well. Throw it in the chat. Good morning, Joe. I'm stoked you're doing morning streams. I've been doing them. I just hadn't had them listed as private. Now, this will go unlisted here. So once this ends, you won't find it again until we replay it, and that'll be here in just a couple minutes, actually. But I want you to rank this. I want you to rank. Let's first rank Felix, and let's second rank Jeremy. Felix, that's going to go an 8 for me. Very impressive. The fact that, look, Felix knows his stuff. Felix and I feel like are the only people who speak the gospel on YouTube as far as like how to make money in the market, right? So Felix gets an 8 for me almost every time. He's even gotten 10s from me. But Jeremy, oh my gosh. Like, I'm going to throw it in the 1. I don't throw many 1s around. Like, forget a bull. If you are buying Elf Beauty because of what Jeremy is saying here, I have really bad news for you, my friend. You could take your money and light it on fire and make probably a lot more fun than you're going to have on Elf Beauty. Sergey says a 9 and a 2. JV basketball games, I used to play those back in the day, gives it a 2 for him. Steven gives it an 8 and 1. Hey, we agree on that. So yeah, those are awful. Now let's shift gears a little bit and let's look at my top 3 setups for the day. This is a new thing that I'm going to start doing. Top 3 setups of the day. So we're going to drop off looking at videos on those. And what I want to do is go into OVTLYR, and I ran my scanner, and I haven't been trading much lately because the market, as great as you think the market is right now, we have broken down on internals so bad. Let me show you what I mean. Right. The market has been trading sideways since December. Okay. We're in February now. The market's been trading sideways. I put on 2 trades in January, and that's it. I didn't trade at all since November 22nd. November 22nd to January, I didn't make any trades. I put on 2 trades, won 1, lost 1. I have more money in my account than I did before. And that's all that matters when you're in this game. Did you have more money today than you did before? So the market trend is still pointing up. Your 10, 20, 50 is pointing up. But what's been breaking down is market breadth. We're seeing, in fact, I went through every single sector. Every single sector, not one was bullish. Every single sector was bearish. Dan, good morning. Rick, got to be at 2. Number 1 is forgettable. 2 is painful. Okay, I get your point there. I get your point. Definitely. Is Alpha another AMD? Alpha's another monkey hammery is what it is. Sergey, Jeremy's selling Palantir and buying AMD and Elf. I hope not. In the meantime, while that's loading up, I wanted to look at my screener. So I ran it this morning. Where's my screener at? And I was looking at the stocks that are set up, right? From what I want to see. In fact, I'll show you my criteria real quick. So when I run the screener, what I want to see are here. Positive backtest, meaning our signals produce positive results. 1 million average daily volume with the buy signal. Less than a 5% move in 5 days, so it hasn't had the outlier move yet. I want all the market caps. I'm a snob, so I only want $20 or greater. Heat map, basically anything except extreme greed, with the heat map moving up and a green overlay, meaning that it's already in a bullish trend here. I don't know what's going on with my market breadth. Let me try that again. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we got a bug on that this morning. Either way, when I ran the screener, came back with a few over the last few days that had buy signals. And so I narrowed it down to my top 3. And let's show you those real quick. So bull list. Now, I will absolutely 100% put on trades when things set up, when the market is trending up, when the market breadth is trending up, when market breadth for some reason is working again. I got to text Mahesh and see what's going on with that. But here's the list that I came through with, right? We've got ATSG, which I wouldn't trade because it had this giant move. It's in this order block. No, thank you. We've got C1, also in an order block. No, thank you. We've got EDR. This one actually looks pretty good to me. So EDR doesn't have any order blocks in its way. And to me right now, market hasn't opened yet. We've got the 10, 20, 50 pointing north. Let's go to EDR on here real quick. That was this one. We've got performance summary shows 4% return. Not the biggest return, but that's all I'm looking for is positive returns. We've got the heat map showing that the fear that has come into it has gone out very quickly. So if I were to get in with the R2 on the entry, I would be looking at a G13. So any red on entries, I'd be looking for a G13 to exit. That's when the greed is getting higher, right? When the greed is moving up like this, I would exit on a G13. So EDR, that's one that I'd be looking at today. Let's go continue on here. INSW, not on that one. It closed below the prior day's low, which is not a good sign. If you're long a stock and it closes below the prior day's low, that's a red flag to me. You've got ACI, again, within an order block here, so I would skip that one. BKR, again, it's below the prior day's low, which is a red flag to me, so no thank you. I've got Lin. Lin is within this order block here. So I would expect to see this one struggle to get through there. But we've got ABBV, ABV, right? This one looks sharp, right? It's got this earnings here. This is what I was talking about with Palantir, right? You've got your gap up on earnings and a gap and go. There's a gap and crap where it'll come back down versus gap and go. Joe says, oh no, outlier must be down. I had already pulled these, so that's why it was there. We are actively making upgrades to the server, so it's very possible Mahesh is pulling an upgrade or pushing an upgrade right now. Nathan, no fear, complete greed in these markets. Love it. Oh, I don't know about that, dude. Joe Love, outlier's been slow for me today. Like I say, I think we're pushing upgrades. Yeah, it must be that. Business Cat, what type of indicators do you use? 10, 20, 50, 10, 20, 50 EMAs. That's it. And then we've got order blocks out here. So ABV looks really sharp. Let's look on outlier real quick. So we've got the buy signal a couple of days ago. In fact, February 4th was the buy signal. Look at that. It's already gone up from February 4th, from the opening to here. It's already up about 3%. It's going to open up a little bit higher today at 193.50. So that's a decent signal. Let's go back to ABV. So we've got the fear coming out of it. Greed starting to pull in. And the buy signal came on a R13. You can see that right here on the R13. So for me, again, that would be any red signal exit at G13. So as the greed comes in, I'm going to be looking for a G13 exit point. And then let's go to the last one. Oh, he's just kidding. Okay, cool. Let's go to the last one, APG. APG, this is what I want to see right here. APG just closed on top of this order block. Now this order block will disappear. That's what you want to see. If it's strong enough to get through here, let's go. Let's see that happen, right? This is a great setup. We've got 10, 20, 50 all pointing north. And then we've got earnings in the next couple of weeks or so, 13 candles. So this is one I would be very interested in. If the market trend and market breadth were working together, I would absolutely be looking at APG. Let's go look at APG over here. So heat map down here, buy signal came at G1. So for me, I would give it a 10-point spread. So I'd be looking to get out at G11. So with that 10-point spread, that should hopefully get us to a nice profitable point. February 4th was the buy signal here on APG, and it's already up, open to close, up 2.2, nearly 2.3%. Looks like it's going to open flat this morning. So yeah, definitely good setups there for me. Let's do one more. Nathan's asking about Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. Yeah, I wouldn't touch Tesla at all. You've got your 10, 20, 50 pointing south, and this is a bearish trend. Hands down, no matter what, this is a bearish trend. Joe Love, do you consider the 52-week range? No, I don't. I don't really care. I only care if it's going up. Actually, if it is breaking out of 52-week ranges, like Palantir, if it's breaking out of a 52-week range, right, that's bullish as could be, because anybody who's bought it in the last year is very stoked because their stock is going up in value, right? So that's that also feeds into this. People are very stoked once it's hitting that 52-week high that it's moving up, and they're stoked to be a part of it. So Let's do this. We already ranked it. I already showed you my top 3 setups of the day. But of course, in the chat, tell me what you're trading. I'd love to know. And don't forget, only price pays. Be sure to come back tomorrow, or I'll help you save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. YouTube's going to show a couple recommended videos. I recommend you watch one of them, and I recommend you have a fantastic day. We'll talk soon.